Hello and welcome. I am really glad you are here today, and I hope this moment feels calm for you. You do not need to rush or prepare anything. You can simply listen and let the words flow naturally. Maybe you are listening while resting, or while walking, or maybe before sleep, and that is perfectly fine. Wherever you are, you can stay with this moment quietly. Maybe your mind feels busy today, full of thoughts that do not stop easily. Maybe you think again and again about the past, or worry about things that did not happen yet. Maybe you feel tired, not in your body, but in your head, and you want some peace. If this feels familiar, you are not alone. Many people feel this way. Overthinking is very common in our lives today, especially when life feels fast and uncertain. People replay conversations in their minds, and they imagine different endings and different reactions. They think about mistakes, about future problems, and about things they cannot control. Even when they rest, their mind keeps working. Overthinking does not mean you are weak or broken in any way. It often means your mind is trying to protect you and prepare you for everything. The problem starts when this protection never stops and the mind does not rest anymore. Silence then feels strange and uncomfortable. You may lie in bed at night and feel your thoughts getting louder. You remember things you said, things you did, and things you wish you changed. You think about tomorrow, about next week, about possible problems. Your body reacts as if all of this is happening now. Your heart may beat faster, and your muscles may feel tight without a clear reason. But most of these thoughts are not facts. They are only ideas and stories. They are stories your mind creates again and again, trying to find safety. Seeing them as stories changes how much power they have. To live more calmly, you do not need to stop thinking completely. You only need to change how you see your thoughts and how you respond to them. Thoughts are not orders, they are not always true, and they do not need action. They can come and they can go. The first step is awareness. Simply noticing what is happening in your mind. When you notice that you are overthinking, you do not judge yourself or get angry. You say quietly, I am overthinking right now, and you stay calm with that idea. This small moment creates space inside you. In this space, you can slow down your breathing and feel your body again. You take one slow breath and then another, without forcing anything. Breathing tells your body that it is safe in this moment. Safety brings calm. Overthinking often comes from fear, even if we do not see it clearly. Fear of making mistakes, fear of losing control, fear of the future. You do not need to remove fear from your life to live calmly. You only need to sit with it without running away. Another helpful step is coming back to the present moment again and again. Overthinking usually lives in the past or in the future, not in now. Calm lives in what is happening right here, in this moment. You can ask yourself simple questions to return gently. What can I see around me right now without judging it? What can I hear, even small sounds? What can I feel in my body? These questions are simple, but they are powerful when repeated. Your mind may leave again, and that is normal. You gently bring it back without frustration. This is practice, not failure. Living calmly does not mean your life becomes perfect or easy. Problems will still come, and difficult moments will still exist. The difference is how you meet them, with less noise inside your head, with more space to breathe. A calmer mind helps you sleep better and feel lighter during the day. Decisions feel clearer, and emotions feel easier to handle. This calm life does not start with big changes. It starts with small pauses. One breath, one moment, one kind thought toward yourself. You do not change everything in one day, and you do not need to. You build calm slowly, in a human way. Step by step, moment by moment. And as you continue to notice your thoughts in this gentle way, you may start to feel a small distance between you and your mind. This distance is not cold or empty. It is calm and supportive. It allows you to see what is happening without being pulled into it. You begin to understand that not every thought needs your attention. Some thoughts are just noise. Some thoughts repeat because the mind is tired. When you stop reacting to them, they slowly lose strength. This does not happen in one day. It grows with practice. You may notice that your mind likes to solve problems, even when there is no real problem. It looks for answers, for control, for certainty. When it does not find them, it creates more questions. More questions create more tension. Instead of answering every question, you learn to pause. You say, I do not need to solve this right now. You give yourself permission to wait. Waiting feels uncomfortable at first, but it brings relief later. Relief comes from letting go, not from control. You may also notice that your body reacts before your mind understands. Your shoulders tighten. Your jaw feels tense. Your breath becomes shallow. These signals are important. The body often knows before the mind. When you notice tension, you slow down. You relax your shoulders. You soften your face. You take a deeper breath. These small actions send a message to your mind. The message is simple. You are safe. Overthinking often grows when you feel unsafe inside. When life feels uncertain, the mind works harder. It tries to prepare for every possible outcome. But life is never fully predictable. Accepting this truth can feel scary, but it is also freeing. When you stop trying to control everything, you free energy. This energy can be used for living, not worrying. Living needs presence. You may notice that when you stay present, problems feel smaller. They do not disappear, but they become clearer. Clear problems are easier to handle. Clarity comes from calm attention. Another helpful practice is choosing one simple action when your mind feels busy. It can be something small: drinking water, standing up, walking slowly, touching something real. Physical actions bring you back to your body. The body lives in the present. When your attention returns to your body, the mind follows more easily. This is not magic. It is natural. You may still think a lot. This does not mean you are failing. Some people have active minds. The goal is not silence. The goal is balance. Balance means thinking when needed and resting when possible. You may also learn to question your thoughts gently. When a thought says something bad will happen, you ask, is this a fact or a fear? When a thought says, I cannot handle this, you ask, is this true right now? Questions open space. Space brings choice. Choice brings calm. You begin to choose which thoughts deserve your energy. You stop feeding every worry. You allow uncertainty to exist. Uncertainty does not mean danger. It means life is moving. As this understanding grows, you may feel more trust in yourself. You trust that you can respond when something happens. You do not need to prepare for everything in advance. Trust reduces pressure. Pressure creates overthinking. You also start to respect your limits more. When your mind feels tired, you rest. You do not push yourself to think more. You accept that rest is productive. Rest supports clarity. Clarity supports calm. Over time, your inner voice becomes softer. It does not disappear, but it changes its tone. It speaks with less urgency. It gives you space instead of fear. This voice becomes a guide, not a judge. Living with less overthinking does not mean life becomes quiet forever. Noise will return sometimes. Thoughts will come back. But now, you know what to do. You slow down. You breathe. You return to the present. And each time you do this, calm becomes easier to find. And as this calmer way of relating to your thoughts continues, you may begin to notice changes that feel subtle, but deep. You do not suddenly stop thinking, but thinking feels lighter. It no longer pulls you away from the moment as strongly as before. You may notice that your mornings feel different. When you wake up, your mind may still bring thoughts, but you do not follow all of them. You choose one simple focus. You notice your breath. You notice the light in the room. This simple choice sets a gentle tone for the day. A gentle start changes the whole rhythm. During the day, situations still happen. People say things. Plans change. Small problems appear, but your reaction is slower. You give yourself a second before responding. In this second, you have space. Space allows wisdom. Wisdom does not rush. You may find that you listen more and speak less when it matters, not because you are quiet, but because you are present. You do not feel the need to fill silence. Silence becomes comfortable. Comfort with silence is a sign of inner calm. You may also notice that your body feels more relaxed during the day. Your breath stays deeper. Your shoulders drop more often. These physical changes are connected to your mental state. When the body relaxes, the mind follows. You may start to see how much of your overthinking was about control, wanting to control outcomes, wanting to control how others see you, wanting to control the future. Control feels safe, but it is tiring. Letting go feels risky, but it gives rest. You learn to accept that you cannot control everything, and that is okay. You focus on what you can influence: your actions, your responses, your care for yourself. This focus simplifies life. When something goes wrong, you feel it, but you do not stay there. You allow the emotion to move. You do not build stories around it. You let it pass. Emotions pass when they are allowed. You may notice that you recover faster from difficult moments. A mistake does not ruin your whole day. A worry does not steal your whole night. You return to balance more easily. Returning to balance is a skill, and like any skill, it grows with practice. You may also notice that your thoughts become clearer. Instead of many voices talking at the same time, there is more order. You can think when you choose to think. Choice brings freedom. Freedom brings calm. You may feel more connected to simple activities, eating, walking, drinking tea. These moments feel richer, not because they changed, but because you are there with them. Presence adds depth to life. Overthinking pulls you away from life. Calm brings you back. You may realize that you do not need to understand everything to feel okay. Some questions do not need answers right now. You allow mystery to exist. Allowing mystery reduces pressure. Pressure feeds overthinking. As you live this way, you begin to trust yourself more. You trust that you can face challenges when they come. You trust that you can learn from mistakes. You trust that you can handle uncertainty. Trust is the opposite of fear. Fear creates overthinking. Trust creates peace. Living calmly does not remove all stress from life, but it changes your relationship with stress. Stress becomes a signal, not an enemy. When you feel stressed, you listen. You adjust. You care for yourself. Care creates stability. Stability supports calm living. And so, step by step, without forcing anything, your life feels quieter inside. Not empty, but clear. Not slow, but balanced. This is how you stop overthinking. Not by fighting your mind, but by understanding it. And as this understanding becomes part of your daily life, you may notice that calm is no longer something you search for. It appears naturally, in small moments, without effort. You do not need special conditions. You do not need silence or perfect days. Calm comes from how you relate to what is happening. You begin to notice that your thoughts still arrive, but they no longer stay as long. They come, they speak, and they leave. You do not invite them to stay for hours. You do not build a story around them. This change feels freeing. You may notice that when something unexpected happens, your first reaction is softer. Instead of panic, there is curiosity. You ask yourself, what is really happening right now? This question brings you back to reality. Reality is often simpler than the stories in the mind. You may also notice that you laugh more easily, not because life is perfect, but because you are lighter inside. When the mind is not busy all the time, joy has space to appear. Joy does not need a reason. It needs space. Your days may still be busy, but they feel less heavy. You move from one task to another with more ease. You do not rush your thoughts. You do not push your feelings away. You allow your experience to be human. You may also notice that your sleep improves. When you go to bed, your mind may still talk, but you do not follow every sentence. You listen like you would listen to the rain. It is there, but it does not disturb you. This relationship with your thoughts changes everything. You are no longer afraid of thinking. You are no longer afraid of silence. You trust yourself enough to rest. During difficult moments, you no longer ask, "Why am I like this?" You ask, "What do I need right now?" This question is kind. It moves you forward instead of keeping you stuck. Kind questions create kind answers. You may need rest. You may need movement. You may need connection. You listen and you respond. You also stop judging your progress. Some days feel calm. Some days feel busy again. You accept both. You understand that calm is not a straight line. Acceptance reduces struggle. Struggle feeds overthinking. As time goes on, you may realize that living calmly does not mean living slowly all the time. It means living consciously. You can move fast when needed. You can decide quickly. But inside, you stay centered. Being centered feels stable. This stability gives you confidence. Not loud confidence, but quiet confidence. You know that whatever happens, you can return to yourself. Returning to yourself becomes natural. You breathe. You pause. You observe. And with this simple process, you meet life as it is, not as your mind imagines it to be. Overthinking slowly loses its role. It is no longer needed to protect you. You show your mind that you can handle life with presence and care. The mind learns from experience. It learns that calm is safe. And so, without a final step, without a clear ending, you continue living this way, thought by thought, moment by moment, day by day. Not trying to control life, not trying to escape it, just living it, with more space inside. And as this sense of space inside you keeps growing, you may notice that your relationship with life itself begins to change. Life feels less like something you must manage all the time, and more like something you can experience. This shift is quiet, but it is very important. You may notice that you no longer wake up with the same heavy feeling in your chest. Your mind may still bring thoughts, but they do not press on you the same way. You greet the day with a little more softness. Softness is strength. You start to understand that calm does not mean the absence of problems. Calm means you are not fighting every moment. You stop asking life to be different before you allow yourself to feel okay. Feeling okay becomes allowed. You may also notice that your attention stays longer on one thing. When you are listening to someone, you are really listening. When you are doing a task, you are more present with it. Your mind does not jump away as quickly. This focus feels grounding. Grounding brings stability. When difficult thoughts appear, you no longer try to push them away. You acknowledge them. You say, "I see you." You do not give them more energy. You let them sit quietly until they fade. What you stop feeding weakens. You may notice that your inner dialogue becomes slower. The voice in your head does not rush you all the time. It does not create urgency where there is none. It speaks when needed and rests when not. Resting thoughts create peaceful moments. You may begin to enjoy doing nothing sometimes. Sitting, looking out the window, walking without a destination. These moments recharge you. Stillness becomes comfortable. You realize that you do not need to fill every empty space. Empty space is not wasted. It is where your nervous system rests. Rest changes how you show up in the world. You may also notice that your reactions to others soften. When someone is upset, you do not take it personally as often. You see their emotion without absorbing it. This creates emotional boundaries. Boundaries protect calm. You start to understand that overthinking was often a habit, not a necessity, a habit you learned over time. And like any habit, it can change. Habits change with patience. You may notice that when you feel overwhelmed, you now recognize it earlier. You do not wait until you are exhausted. You pause sooner. You adjust your pace. Listening early prevents burnout. Burnout feeds overthinking. Your body feels safer now. When the body feels safe, the mind does not need to work so hard. This safety grows slowly through repeated moments of calm response. Safety is built, not forced. You may notice that you smile more without reason. Not because everything is perfect, but because you feel more at ease with imperfection. Imperfection feels human. You stop asking yourself when you will finally be calm. You realize that calm is already here, in small pieces, throughout your day. Small pieces add up. You may still have moments of strong thinking. Stressful situations still exist, but now you recover faster. You return to balance more easily. Recovery is progress. You also learn that calm does not make you passive. You still care. You still act. You still make decisions. But you act from clarity, not from fear. Clarity changes outcomes. Your life begins to feel more honest. You do less pretending. You accept your limits. You accept your pace. Acceptance reduces inner conflict. Inner conflict creates noise. As this way of living continues, you stop trying to fix your mind. You work with it instead. You respect it. Respect builds cooperation. The mind learns that it does not need to shout to be heard. And slowly, without effort, without force, overthinking loses its grip. It no longer controls your days. It becomes just one voice among many, not the leader. You live with more ease. You breathe more deeply. You stay closer to yourself. This is not the end of thinking. It is the beginning of balance.